Welcome, everybody! In the words of Mad Dog Rousseau. I'm excited, John. Hey, everybody. Welcome to I don't know if we're going to call it Wine Wednesday, but I thought about putting it in a whiskey glass. We're watching Trey Lance film tonight on the tube, Middlecoff.
Let me, I'm posting right now to
Okay,
Twitter.
You post. So
I will post to,
here's what I want to know. In the comments, a few things, by the way. Our podcast is down in the description below. Go to iTunes and leave us some reviews. Go to the Haberman and Middlecoff Facebook page. It's just facebook.com/promo code ham. Leave some questions or something there. We just have an update. It's just an announcement update to our mailbag stuff, which is we want to know your favorite, bar to watch a game at. Doesn't matter where in the world you are. We want to know. Let's pass it along. Let's include that information and, make the world a smaller place. That's a beautiful thing. And I thought of that, of course, because tonight we are drinking bottles of wine courtesy of our friends at wineaccess.com/hammer. You can get 20% off your first order. And I opened this bottle, John. Thank God I opened it before we got on air because it took me 8 minutes to open it. And I haven't taken a sip yet. And we're going to watch Trey Lance college tape. We got a ton of Trey Lance cut-ups. Thank you to the internet for it's a heavy pour, Middlecoff. There you go. Should we begin? Oh, should we announce? Oh, we'll get to that. But we're watching Trey Lance tape tonight. So we're combining our friends at wineaccess.com/ham, and I think everybody's interest in watching some Trey Lance college tape.
Well, I just can't recommend enough. Our friends at wineaccess.com/ham. Send a gift. Let me do a little taste test.
I haven't tasted mine yet.
Oh. From Sonoma, guy. Yeah. Sonoma Coast.
I got the
Pinot
right here.
Noir.
I got the deets right here. Before we tell people about the Wine Access stuff, can we just, John, for those of you who don't know us, I'm Guy. That's John. If you're new to us, welcome. Share it with your friends. John was an NFL scout, so this is perfect. We can go watch some film. And, I'm an amateur scout like all of us. I think we're all amateur scouts, and you watch enough ball. Everybody has, I think, we've all seen what great looks like, and we love to project players. So we did this a lot last year during the draft. We didn't do a live one of these. We did it with Herbert. We did it with a bunch of players last year, and we had a lot of fun with it, just watching a bunch of tape. So we've got some categories tonight on Trey Lance, John. I've got 6 categories on Trey Lance that our film intern put together, or our coach's assistant put together. But before we get into that and tell people about the wine we're drinking, what, from a scouting standpoint, when you're with the Eagles, what were the ways that you guys tried to measure quarterback? When what was the language you guys spoke in scouting quarterbacks?
Well, I'd say you always had to see them live. So if you had a draftable quarterback, you always had to see him live. That was key. And I think that is something, just talking to my buddies on different teams now, that's still a rule. Because there's something to be said about a way a guy carries himself on the sideline, after bad plays, how he interacts with his teammates. And I would imagine typically once a guy's a high enough potential draft pick, GMs like to see him. It's why I think, for teams that are quarterback interested, I think it's why it's such a big story when, remember, John Elway was at Herbert's game, and this year, remember when Adam Peters went to see Zach Wilson?
Yeah.
Whenever there is a GM or an assistant GM somewhere, it usually pops on Saturday, right? Of the college football Saturday, like on social media. So-and-so, Mike Mayock is here to see Tua. I'm just picking random GMs. But that, sometimes like the college reporter takes a picture, like that's not random, right? That guy is using his time to watch a quarterback. Now, I think sometimes they would say, you go to Alabama, LSU, you're getting to see, potentially a game like Ohio State, Oregon, whatever, right? It might be 18 draftable players in the game, but usually it's like, is he here watching the quarterback?
Right.
That's always the thing that gets talked about.
Well, I know, that's great insight from having, you've been in, when I go to college stadiums to call games, something I do in every stadium, and John, you know this, where do the scouts sit? You might go down to the field before the game, but you sit in the press box, right, with the rest of the media. And there's always a seating chart in a football press box, and it'll say, Jim Smith from the local Dietary Tribune is in seat 7. And then there's always a section that's just, and you can look and see who's RSVP'd to be there that day. Doesn't necessarily mean John Lynch will be there, but you can look and see, and you just see, Joe Douglas from the Eagles is supposed to be here today. The beauty of it is if it's a name you don't recognize, they usually have the team name next to it. So it might not be a GM that you know, but it might just say John Middlecoff, Eagles. I'm like, oh, the Eagle. So then I know the Eagles are here today. Whether I know exactly who that person is, maybe he's just the West Coast scout, not the GM, first name basis. But so you're right. That's a big part of the fun of game day is just finding out who's where and trying to figure out what it all means. Well, we're not in person with Trey Lance. We saw Trey Lance at OTAs in person a few weeks ago. Only got one. We were impressed, but we thought let's go back and watch some game film together. Before we go any further, John.
Yeah, he looks the part.
A few people. Let's just hit some comments. Trey Young going bananas. Definitely, people are keeping an eye on him tonight. Jonas says it's 2:10 a.m. in Iceland. Brian said evening, fellas. Yeah, I mean evenings usually on Sunday nights for us. CT Niner says boys on late today. Rolling a Fat J for this stream. We don't have a wine access discount on that, but
I do. Trey Young through 3 quarters, 37-8. Like
incredible. And it's a 2-point
against
game.
Milwaukee, who's a good defensive team. Is he a bona fide superstar right now?
Yes.
Like I really enjoy watching
Absolutely.
him play.
Bona fide superstar. I think the Hawks are becoming one of the most popular, just important teams in the NBA. But we're not here for that.
Do you know? I know it's hard. Do you know the hardest part for me to open the bottle of wine is like the wrapping. I can get the cork out
really?
pretty easy. It's the wrapping always.
Easy part.
I found a golf tee and kind of worked it. But as I'm watching him, I'm thinking, and we do this in the NFL all the time. It's the great part, I think, is just about young star players. Baseball, you don't really get it because they never come up at the same time. But I'm uncorking my wine and thinking, like, is Luka that much better than Trey Young? Because I'd be like, I don't know. Are they the same? Like that. But that's just kind of like the Tua, Herbert, Burrow. Like that's what makes sports fun is just comparing it.
Benjamin,
but it's like they are just superstar players.
Yeah. No, they don't feel bad about that pick. When does the tape review start? In a moment. Before we dive into the tape review, we're just going to tell you about this bottle. We've got several bottles here. We didn't plan it. We both opened this bottle called Star Treatment. The beauty at Wine Access, everything comes with one of these cards. And this is what we've got here, John, is abundant fruit intensity, some vanilla oak intensity, some dense body, some fresh acidity, and some silky tannins. Red wine, Pinot Noir from the Sonoma Coast. 2018, John, appropriate in honor of the year that Trey Lance decided, no, I am not going to go be a safety at Minnesota. I'm going to play quarterback for North Dakota State. So cheers to everybody.
In recent memory,
you get this bottle for $30 at Wine Access, by the way.
In recent memory, that's truly one of the great bet on myself Power 5 to FBS to number 3 overall pick. Because the one thing, like with Carson Wentz, people
FCS.
weren't offering him. FCS. Yeah. FBS is like Bama in those schools, right?
Yeah.
Like, guy, it's just, I mean, it's just unheard of. You went 3rd overall. Minnesota said, no, you're not.
Here's a guy who loves his teammates, John. Keep talking. Keep making your point. We just watched some.
Yeah, just, you talk about a guy who loves football. Yeah, it's everyone. How much does he love it? And I actually think that's something that, as social media really gained steam and the media, as their voices felt louder, they hate like balance in life and people that like, why are the NFL so obsessed with like, do you only love football? Because you got to be a crazy motherfucker to make it in pro sports at quarterback. And I would say in our adult lives, the 2 best quarterbacks by far. Well, I guess Rodgers would be there too, would be Peyton and Tom. And I would call those guys crack addicts, the equivalent when it comes to football. I mean, Brady definitely is. And I don't think Aaron gets painted that way, right? Like, when you think Aaron and Drew Brees, you think completely different personalities. And I don't know Aaron Rodgers. I never spent any time around him. I would be shell-shocked if his, like, Monday through Sunday during the season isn't pretty nuts, right? The preparation for the game, the studying. He's clearly intellectually pretty smart, so maybe things like kind of like a luck. Maybe it comes to him easier. But like if those video that we talked about it the other day on the podcast, like the Reggie Bush video of Drew Brees, I bet Rodgers does some quirky shit that just doesn't get out because Green Bay's just kind of different. But you got to be an addict. And I think they're betting on this guy just being football's his life. And again, that's something that makes people uncomfortable, not in the football world, not successful people, but it just people always like, why do you got to be so obsessed? because you're trying to beat.
But no one's getting mad at
Mahomes.
Brady for being obsessed with football.
No, they're not. But I'm saying that, I'm talking about the way you describe draft prospects. It's always becomes a polarizing, like in March and April.
Trevor Lawrence says he could live without football. That type of thing you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a healthy thing. Like, to me, red flag. Like, everyone's like, red flag.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to be an addict. And I think they're betting on this guy. His history would say, I wouldn't bet against him.
Dan Baldwin in the chat said, good rhythm on the dap. Yep, good rhythm on the dap and the hug. We got a pound. Went in, no doubt what we were going to do there. Okay, good. How many teammates were at his birthday party?
Is that Cal football?
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is, but it is.
Yeah, it's not our guy from Chip Kelly's guy from the Eagles.
Jordan Matthews?
Yeah.
All right, John, 6 categories today for Trey Lance. Let's get into the somebody in the chat if you know who that is in the Cal. Here's the 6 categories. You tell me you're scouting. You like the 6 category. This is just we
got to stop this video, guys. It's making me go nuts.
Oh, I'm sorry. The this is the categories. That's how Gruden always started the QB camp. He'd be like, now here's a guy. Look at this guy right here, John. Loved by his teammates, right? You see that dap, man? Oh, boy, you love dapping up your teammates, don't you, Trey? Oh, yeah, you do. All right, here's the categories, John. Number 1 is arm. Number 2 is running. Number 3 is pocket mobility. Universal sign for running. Number 4, balls that should have been picked. Number 5, this looks like it would have. Number 5 is looks like it will happen with the 49ers. Okay. And category 6 is other. Quick shout out to ZZ Liam 2211. That's the guy who put together every Trey Lance play in the history of his college career in one YouTube. Now, I did not find that YouTube until about 20 minutes ago, unfortunately. But this guy and Just Bomb Productions, they put out a lot of Trey Lance video. So we appreciate them. Okay. So you ready? We all good? Ready to watch some tape?
Yep. I just looked a little like
yeah, you
light.
got bright all of a sudden.
I don't know what's going on here.
Okay. I can darken you over here. You mean Middlecoff need to be a little darker?
Yeah, can you darken?
Let me give it a little tan, maybe. That better? I feel like it's just...
Yeah, I gotta work on the lighting in here. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
All right. Well, maybe the sun's setting. Maybe that's what happened. All right, John, you ready? Here we go. So we're gonna just go in order. Category number 1. Let's look at Trey Lance's arm, and here we go. We're just gonna look at some plays. Some of these are good. Some of them are spectacular. Some of them are not. Some of them are nothing. But this is what football, man. Let's get into some football. All right. These are 2019 plays, John. This is against Butler. We're going to start it with the highlight.
You're saying Butler that's the team that Brad Stevens
Gordon
used to
Hayward
coach
defending
at?
on this play here.
That's a hell of a catch, actually.
Yeah, I mean, this is really about
as
the
good
catch,
as the throw is. That's an incredible FCS catch. Good throw,
man. Here's the other thing that stands out when you go through a lot of Trey, John. Is what? Under center, right? A ton of under center, ton of play action. A lot of these things could probably go down in looks like it could happen with the 49ers. Okay? So we're going with arm. But it doesn't mean that, this is a display of his arm that almost gets picked. Now, we're working off the TV copy here, so we're going to have to look at the replay. This probably should be in the arm category now that I'm looking at it. But, yeah, he's trusting his arm to make a little bit of a crazy play over the middle. It's not
you know what I see right there, guy? And not that it's a big deal at Levi Stadium, but when you play at North Dakota State, like he has played in the elements, right? And he's from Minnesota. So, I mean, they're going to have some games just over his career at Seattle. Potentially you're in the playoffs. You never know. Maybe Justin Fields, the Bears get good. The Packers, if Rodgers doesn't leave, that's cold fucking places.
Yeah.
The one thing, an underrated part about Kaepernick's upbringing was for a guy that grew up in the Valley, Turlock. I mean, I spent a lot of time in Turlock last year. It's hot, right? But he spent 5 years at Nevada, and you and I have both been there.
In the arms of
I remember going there Yeah, Fresno State. That place is cold, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, and part of it too is that's where you live in the off season, right? And as a football player in college, spring practice. So these guys are used to just anyone can play in the sun. Like, can you play in the cold? It's not easy.
It's a good call.
That was a great throw.
I think that last throw we could put on the category as mislabeled. All right, here we go. Back to his arm. This is – I saw somebody the other day tweet out a throw that Nick Foles made. Was it with the Eagles, which was a very similar throw? They said just one of the great – this is, to me, some of the best throws ever look like this.
You notice, though,
from the opposite
one of the
hash.
stories we talked about this week was on the podcast. Yeah, it was on the podcast about Jeremy Fowler reported they spent the spring just trying to get his release a little compact. Like, I wouldn't call this Tebow or anything, but he winds up. I mean, it's a little, it's pretty loopy.
Yeah.
Clearly you and I, we stood semi close to him. Like, he's got the fucking strength. It's just, you gotta be quick. Now, I'm not, that throw is perfect.
This was actually ruled incomplete. But what
kid dropped it.
No, he left foot came out of bounds first.
I got you.
This is interesting. The Skills That Kill says that throw looks like a Herbert throw. Let's see. Let's watch this. Does this look like a Herbert throw? I feel like Herbert really puts it on a line. Yeah. In my head, Herbert throws are almost like clothesline straight, but
my take was going to be that looks like an NFL throw. I mean, Herbert, whoever. I mean, that's just an NFL throw. Right side, thrown across the field. Like, you got to be elite to do that.
See, this is where I would say, like, to me,
Herbert's got a better arm.
Herbert's got a better arm. And this is the throw that Herbert, to me, I remember seeing Herbert make this similar throw from his end zone his junior year in one of their early season non-conference games. It was one of the best throws I'd ever seen Justin Herbert make. And when Herbert made that throw, it got there faster. But Justin Herbert has a plus arm. It's as good as it gets, I think.
Well, I'd say who has a better arm than Justin Herbert in the NFL? Josh Allen. I mean,
but here's the other thing about, like, this is not stable platform, right? He's moving a little bit, so you give him credit for the accuracy, moving a little bit. I mean, this is good arm, right? On this throw.
Yes.
All right.
Fine. But also, here's the thing: like, talking basketball, and you talk to Trey Youngs and the Wisemans; those guys are like 19 years old. This guy is kind of like an NBA prospect, right? He only played one season. Like, he, in theory, should be stronger 2 years later. Like, you're dramatically, physically, as a man, growing in your body at 19, 20, 21 years old, especially athletes. I mean, I wonder if that was a huge part of the conversation, just not just Kyle and John, but just draft rooms. Like, because you do it a lot with other position players. I don't think you do it that often with quarterbacks. Like, how much stronger can his arm get? Like, why couldn't this guy's arm get stronger?
Well, and someone in the this is Colin. Can't forget the dude's like 19 in this film. BECP says that Trey's like 18, a freshman when he made this throw. These are 2019 as, I guess, redshirt freshman year. But yeah, these are legit points. This one, you want this one back though, John?
Yeah, but that happens in the end. I mean, Jimmy's had 17 of those. Right?
One in particular I can remember. I mean, this is
to me I think Jimmy has his fair share of that. To me, the Super Bowl is actually closer than like that one, and like Jimmy's got some misses.
Oh, you want
CJ
this one back, John?
And
the receiver drop.
Yeah.
This is where, you remember in the month or two leading up to the draft, there were some draft people who do you remember who compared his arm to Colin Kaepernick's?
I don't exactly. Maybe it was Kuiper, but I do remember people, my friends in the NFL, I heard that name come. Like, that was something that maybe McShay did. That was something in NFL circles. I think a lot of people did the comp.
And
cold weather school, smaller school.
And I didn't like that comp. You know that from a running standpoint and from a touch, I think he has way more touch. Not that this is about that, but he's got much more touch than Colin did coming out of college. As someone who watched every Colin play in Nevada.
Kaepernick was viewed as an inaccurate quarterback in Nevada for sure.
All right, next up, a couple. We got 3 more on his arm. Oh, that's step, and this is actually a fumble. But to me, this is, Kyle's going to have something drawn up. We got to get the ball over there fast, and that ball gets on the receiver very quickly.
You see who they're playing there?
That was the point of this. UC Davis, baby, the fighting Dan Hawkinses.
Big 12, brother.
St. Intramurals.
His release a little loopy.
This is the old release, John. This is the old him. This is pre-John Beck and Quincy Avery.
Good effort there. Oh, you see Dan Hawkins' team. I mean, they fly around for the ball.
Yeah, they do. I love a good seam throw.
That was a nice throw. I don't know what they're doing, what they're teaching there at Davis. It's a big game for Davis, going to North Dakota State, defending champs.
Right in it right now in the third quarter. Gate City Bank. Somebody asked me the other day when I posted about this, will there be ads? And I said, hell yeah. Gate City Bank is going to get theirs. I think we got an ad coming up in a little bit on one of these footage, on one of these tapes from a company for fertilizer. Anything here you like?
That's a good throw.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they had a play called against a certain defense that he knew. Because he doesn't really hesitate there. I think this UC Davis team, if I remember correctly, was pretty good. They made the playoffs.
They must have. I mean, this is a hell of a game right now.
Yeah, I think they made the playoffs that year.
So this is a miss.
Obviously, he won the national championship, right?
Undefeated.
North Dakota State won it all. He never lost, yeah.
Look, overthrow here, but to me, part of this, the reason I put this in arm strength was just look at his body when he throws this ball, like where his feet are. This is all arm.
You see, though, I mean, we talked a little bit before we jumped on. It is not. I mean, I think the NFL liked this guy a lot. Just teams all over. It's not an easy evaluation. I mean, you're watching him against UC Davis.
Because of the opponent, yeah.
I mean, how many defensive players do you think at UC Davis will ever play a snap in the NFL? 0? If you had to put the over-under at 0.5 snaps, I'd probably put it under.
Yep. Michael says, I know it's all off-season tape. But he's cleaned up his motion and footwork so far. Pretty noticeable. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, again, this cannot be lost. This is 2-year-old tape.
But my question for Michael, pretty noticeable. Is Kyle sending you practice tape?
No, he's breaking down the Mohamed Sanu tape. Whether it's noticeable or not, I think the purpose of this is really just about let's look at his skill set here. And
this was the guy that they watched when they pulled the trigger, right?
Right.
They didn't have any working with him at practice.
Right. All right, John. Next up, I think that's all for. We've gone through some of the arm stuff. Let's talk about him as a runner. Oh, how about you talk about when Kyle? Look, let me. What do we got here? We got. I'm covering it up. This is third. So we got a third and a fourth down. That's what this sequence is in the FCF semifinal. So you got a 3rd and 7, run it. Doesn't get there. So what do? You run it again with him. And, I do wonder if you said to a coach, all right, you got 2 plays to get 7 yards with Trey Lance running. Do you think you're going to get it?
Well, against Montana State, yes. The Rams? I mean, I think the Niners are going to, yeah. It is a little more difficult just to run it up the gut in the NFL with a quarterback, right? I mean, one thing I think, he's not, I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched him run that much, but he's not Lamar Jackson, right? I mean, one thing if you watch a Ravens game is Lamar, one, he's the fastest guy in the field, which Trey clearly is not. I mean, he's fast for a quarterback, but all the linebackers, he's 4.50. I mean, he's not slow. You look kind of fast there.
I was about to say Colin's faster, but.
Yeah, Colin is. This guy's more fluid of an athlete. Colin couldn't make any. If there was a body around Colin, he was going to get tackled. But if Colin was in open space, he was gone. That's where this guy is going to give you much more. He's more likely to make a guy miss. And when I say make a guy miss, like just do a subtle juke, right? He's not. Lamar, you could argue, is the most athletic quarterback ever, right there with Michael Vick. Like those were on a complete, because they were 4-3, 4-2 guys, and they were elusive. Like this guy's 4.55, but he's big as fuck. You know, same with Cam. Now Cam's bigger than him, but I think, you know, is he big enough to run what they consistently did with Cam over the years when they were a really good team?
I don't look. Having seen how that played out with Cam, do you want it to be that way? I would say no, but I do think going back to like some of these runs, I think we heard Shanahan say this to Kawakami on Tim's podcast last week. Part of the appeal of this is not that you do it, it's just that the defense thinks you might do it and knows that you can do it, right? And then it becomes up to the coach to decide how many times do I want to press that button. Do I want to treat this guy like I treat my running backs? I need like 12 of them to get through a season. Do I want to treat this guy the way I treat Deebo Samuel? No. But the threat that he can do it twice a game, like I think Kyle, when he sees this, is thinking as much about the threat of this creating opportunities for other guys like Deebo and Brandon Ayuk and Kittle and all that as he is about running this play, which I'm sure he loves.
And listen, I mean, this guy is a fantastic athlete. You know, I mean, we saw with Wentz, it translated, but you never truly know until he's doing it against NFL guys. Like, does he have the same confidence step? Is he questioning himself? Is it something that he has to progress to and learn? Because I think we can say that Lamar had it away, right? Vic had it away. But it was easier transition, right? Louisville had played a bunch of good teams. Obviously, at Virginia Tech, he had played, you know, back then, I mean, Florida State, Miami were star. He had played in the national championship. Who's the best team this guy's ever played? I mean, Montana in the national championship, right? I mean, it's just, it would have been last year. They were supposed to play Oregon, right?
They were supposed to play at Oregon.
Yeah. I mean, Guy, there's a chance. I guess he wouldn't have gotten one because Lawrence was going one no matter what, but he could have solidified himself. He had the season as the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, I mean,
if he had a Zach Wilson games,
you know, Zach Wilson, if the season's normal, right, part of that domino effect is Zach Wilson plays a different schedule. Now, it might have worked to Zach Wilson's advantage.
Didn't he have like 5 Pac-12? But didn't he have like 5 Pac-12 teams on that schedule?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might have worked towards Zach's advantage, but it might have been. It would have been a lot harder for him to put up the kind of numbers that he did, just given that his schedule would have been a lot harder. Zach Wilson's. My point, I'm agreeing.
But if Zach had done similar stuff against Notre Dame, Washington, he would have been for sure the number 2 pick.
Yeah, which he was anyway, right?
But think about like the number 2 and 3 pick. The number 2 pick, who was awesome last year, everyone's like his schedule sucked. The number 3 pick didn't even play. So it was, and both those guys, I think we all admit, were really talented. You watch Zach Wilson during the season, badass. You watch this guy, like he's fucking, hell, I didn't even need to watch snap. You just walk out of the practice, you're like, Jesus. But they were, I mean, it was just a unique year, so it wasn't their fault.
I love this play.
Who's he playing there, Weber?
This is UCA. That's all I wrote down, UCA. Abilene?
We have no clue who.
Arkansas? Arkansas? Here's a touchdown run while you're thinking about it. Gate City Bank, baby. This is UCA. No, I don't think Abilene Christian.
He played a lot like Cam Newton did in the NFL. In college,
they do like their
like Cam did it, and Cam did at Auburn.
Ooh, John,
he's running through guys.
Here's a play I love. This play doesn't work. This play does not work, but I love this. Look at this. They wanted to do the Chris Leak. They wanted to do the Tebow here. Watch the tight end.
Was that the fake Tebow?
Yep.
But was that a fake Tebow run?
I think
Was he actually going to throw?
Could have been a fake Tebow. It could have been. Stop, fake the throw. Yeah, you're right. It might have been a fake throw.
What would you guess the chances are that versions of that are getting implemented over the next couple years?
Me, that play right there, people run it with non-quarterbacks, right?
Maybe it's always been like this, and I wasn't paying attention in the 80s. Obviously, I wasn't even alive in the first half of the 80s or paying attention in the 80s, and in the 90s, I just watched it like a young fan. It does feel now, and I heard McVay say this, it is just easier now to have access to everything. He's like, we can put like a quality control guy on all the college plays on like a random day to rip them. It was harder back in the 80s to get all the film. Now you just have a press of a button. Everyone has access. You can run queries for, short yardage in the SEC. Who knows? I do think it's never been easier for these guys to steal plays all over the place. And you just argue like, hell, YouTube and just the access to everything. It probably is the greatest time to ever be a coach and stealing shit.
Well, there's all the filtering.
And I would imagine but I would imagine too, like if we got Andy Reid on the horn right now, how many plays in his 20 plus years of being a head coach has he stolen from evaluating college players? Like, damn, kind of like that one, right? It has to happen at a pretty high rate, right? If you're just Sean McVay watching wide receivers, you're gonna notice plays, right? Any profession.
Absolutely. I think McVay said it on the flying. McVay said it on the Flying Coach Pod that they steal stuff all the time.
Plays that way. But I mean specifically when you're draft prep.
Yeah.
Because for coaches, you're always thinking scheme, so you're just watching this. And then I can't imagine you're like, well, I love this player. I want this guy on my team. Look what he does well.
Yeah.
That's where I think the good coaches, when you draft a guy, make it really easy to transition because you know what they like to do.
I would imagine one thing an offensive coach loves to do, come out to practice, his rookie wide receivers out there. He implements a play that guy ran in college that that the NFL coach has never run before. But they're like, all right, Johnny. All right. Yeah, I saw this. We're going to get you the ball. Right? That type of thing. Let's get this guy a play that he's comfortable with. Right? I think coaches love doing that kind of stuff.
This play, I think, is pretty, he's the best athlete and most dominant player on the field in these games. To me, that is like, I'm not trying to be negative at all. It is the question with him transitioning, moving forward. I mean, guy, he's fucking trucking.
Again, like you said, this is the film they watched to draft him, but they did personal QB coach to a degree that I don't know that anyone's done for a month. Several analytic, mind tests and exams on him. But this is what, remember, Kyle had not seen him in person when they left Justin Fields' pro day and he was drawing plays for Trey Lance on the plane, right? Kyle had not seen him in person yet.
No.
He maybe had a report from Adam Peters and et cetera. Okay, on to the next category. This category is pocket mobility. Pocket mobility. And this is more focused, not so much on running, but eyes downfield, trying to make plays. He almost held the ball as long as Jameis in the pocket there.
Jameis still hasn't been sacked in that drill.
He still hasn't thrown the ball either.
Jameis does incredible off-season drills. He did one like a couple years ago that was equally as good, if not better.
Which one was that one?
I can't remember, but it was incredible.
All right, we'll get back to that later. Somebody send me a link in the
might
chat.
Might have been a hula hoop. It was something outrageous.
I love this is part of what made the throw at the end. Kind of look at the way his body is, out of throwing position as he throws it. But
I wonder, what would be fascinating would be to ask the guys on the team. And this is what you would do if any of them were draftable, and they've had a bunch of draftable players. But like a senior wide receiver on this team, right? Let's say a guy that had played 3 years. So he had won national championships. He had played with an NFL quarterback, a guy that was drafted in Easton Stick with the Chargers. Then he gets this guy. Like, do they go, this guy's on a fucking different level than that guy? That guy was incredible, right? I mean, that guy, they were kicking ass with a guy that the Chargers drafted and who's going to be I mean, I know talking to DJ who does their games, the Chargers love Easton. Now he's not Herbert, but he's going to be their backup, and maybe he'll be one of those. Who knows? It's not crazy. Nah, I mean, Matt Schaub was a second-round pick, so he's probably not like one of those second-round picks like a Jimmy Garoppolo that's going to end up starting. But he could have a 8-9 year career, and this guy comes in and it's just on a completely different. It's just different.
Yeah. This play to me is what it's all about. Like, you can script plays for guys, or you can scheme a guy into a great situation. You can overwhelm with your athleticism and run the football. But, like, to me, this play is a lot of what we're talking about. When you say, like, oh, you aim big. You say, oh, Mahomes, you want Mahomes. Like, you want a lot of things. Mahomes is a lot of things that a lot of other people just can't be. But this is what we're off script. Like, this is what we're talking about. What you intended to do didn't work. So what happens next? Like, I know he's playing Montana's, well, whatever, right? Like, this whole thing as we're watching, like, these are the things I think that you look at most and go, does this one translate? Can he pull this one off in the NFL? Because this is the thing that, Brandon Staley Robert Saleh can't stop this one. Your defensive coordinator on the other team cannot do anything to help you if your quarterback can do this. Like, this is it right here. This, to me, is one of the plays.
Well said, Scout Haberman.
Also, you know what we love to say before we move on to the next play? Fast guys like to run. Look at number 1. He doesn't come over to even celebrate with the guy that scored. Fast guy, like, yeah, this guy's got the touchdown. 4's got the score. But number 1, I'm fast. But he doesn't even run to him. He just runs off on his own.
I just saw that guy take 7 steps. There's no chance he's not the fastest guy on the team. You see how fast that guy moved?
Look at this. Look at how does.
Yeah.
Woo!
But I think to piggyback off what you said,
yeah,
is Kyle hit on this last year, right? They didn't have this, and they were getting their ass kicked by guys that had this, and ultimately they lost in the Super Bowl because of not exactly that, but something like this. And this is what I'm going to be fascinated to see, guy. Like, I think he can do the play before, which was kind of McNabby, I thought.
Dude, yes.
McNabby. And Justin Fields is going to do the same shit. I'm fascinated in the NFL to watch him do that.
This?
Like, this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like run. I know behind the pocket, him and Fields, even Lawrence, Josh Allen, Mahomes, that's what you want. Deshaun Watson. But, like, what's he look like running against NFL guys? That, to me, is, because here,
yeah.
Can you notice when you watch him run against the smaller school guys, not number 1 just flew by everyone. That guy's fast. Like, this guy I don't think is going to fly by everybody. Right? And I think they're going to have to tell him right away, we ain't running over, Bobby Wagner. So we slide, we get out of bounds.
Yeah.
But when he runs, that's where, back to Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick, like, it was clear. Those guys, open field, let it rip. Is this guy going to have to hit the ground every once in a while because he's going to get caught? I don't know. Is he going to run a lot? I mean, hell, we might have to wait 2 years before these questions are even answered. Ooh.
That was not deflected by the defender.
It was one of those, I think the kid would probably tell his wide receiver coach, Coach, I couldn't see.
Threw behind me.
I think his hand goes right up against his vision, and then he just loses. You see?
Yep.
So you're just looking at the ball, and then the hand, and then you just lose, the orbital vision. I think that's the right word.
I just love how quickly he moves off what he didn't like.
The Salukis?
Yeah, baby. Romo?
Romo, Jimmy, and Peyton all went to the same school. I feel like Jimmy went to a blue school.
Northern Illinois? Eastern Illinois?
Well, didn't they all go to the same school? Romo and Peyton did, and I assume that Jimmy went to their school too, but I don't know.
What do we got here? Oh yeah,
one thing you have to acknowledge, Romo. I mean, Sean Payton didn't play in the NFL, but like these smaller schools, I mean, they do produce guys, right? You have to take them seriously. I mean, this guy
but their guys
draft, but
Eastern for both of them. But their guys don't look physically usually a quarterback like this, right? I mean, Josh Allen, for as overlooked as he was, he did go to Wyoming. He had to go to a JC first. One more USC.
But I would say, though, Wyoming's closer to this than it is like Oregon or Washington, right?
Yeah, but like you said,
Wyoming.
But here's what I would say.
Did you do a Wyoming game 2 years ago? Did you do a Wyoming game?
I did a Wyoming game last year. At
do you think
UNLV.
Do you think they would beat North Dakota State? Because I don't. Well, I mean, I haven't watched Wyoming, but I'd be shocked.
No,
I bet North Dakota State's better than Wyoming. Is my point.
Yeah, irony is Craig Bohl was the coach at North Dakota State. He went to Wyoming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's in the same kind of vicinity. You know?
But I mean, he left for for his career, a promotion at Wyoming. You know what I mean?
No, well, I know because when I was in the NFL, Montana, who was kind of the North Dakota State when we were in college, right in the 2000s, their coach had gone to UNLV. So if you are the best coach in this division, right, in Division I AA, it's usually going to be a North Dakota State, a Wyoming, a UC Davis. You're going to kind of end up on kind of the, probably a Mountain West school, right? I think that's kind of, that is something unique. Like, we're not big small schools out here, like the South has 1, 2, Division III. But we do just, like, our Division I AA is pretty good. UC Davis, before we were born, was like national championships in like the 70s and the 80s. Jim Soker was like friends with Bill Walsh. What these guys have become, what Montana became. Yeah.
I love this
story.
So
if you think about it, like if you're the coach at North Dakota State or Montana, you're probably just not going to end up at like UCF, right? You're more likely to end up at like Nevada. And if I was them, that's where I'd want to go. I'd feel comfortable in that kind of region.
I love this throw. Doesn't get caught, but he only throws it where his receiver could catch it, right? Look at this. On the move, drops it over the DB.
I don't think it can be overstated how terrible Josh Allen was in college, because I watch all these guys play and I'm like, these guys are all way better than Josh Allen in college. And Josh Allen's like my top 5 player in the NFL right now for me.
We've already shown more throws than Josh Allen had in college, it feels like. How about this play?
Rutgers?
Youngstown State.
Well, you know who's coaching there?
I don't know why it's so dark. Pelini?
Yeah.
Is he still there?
They produce NFL guys.
All right, we've got...
I do think it's fair within like 3 or 4 years as he matures and gets stronger. That could be something in the NFL he does. I don't expect him to do it right away, like throw J.J. Watt to the side. But I do think the Niners can envision him when he's 26, 27. Can he make plays like that? I think it's fair to...
Yeah, John, again, yes. You draft him because you think he can make this play in the NFL. Yes. Hell yes. Sorry, it took me a long time to answer that question. Absolutely. Right?
He has sweet-ass plays.
John, you draft him 3rd overall. Okay, next up. Now, how many interceptions did Trey Lance throw in college?
You think 4 has told his buddies over time, like, I almost had Trey? Like when he got drafted?
I think he will as time goes on.
Yeah. Yes. When he's at, like, the company retreat for his real estate company, and the Monday Night Football's on in the background.
So, John, this gets talked about all the time. They didn't throw a pick until this year. We only played 1 game. Don't count it. 28 touchdowns, no picks in the year in which we're watching all his tape from, which is 2019. So we're going to look at balls that should have been picked coming up next and determine whether or not he got lucky or if he throws a ball that's hard to intercept. Before we do that, let's tell everybody watching. By the way, thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. Before we get on, we've got 3 more categories of stuff. Actually, 2 more categories plus some bonus. We have interceptions, non-interceptions, and plays that look like things the Niners would do. Before we do that, let's tell you all about our friends who are sponsoring this fun night tonight, wineaccess.com/ham. We're both drinking Star Treatment, wineaccess.com/ham. You get 20% off your first order. These are the best wines in the world. Only 1 of 18 bottles makes it on the site. Has to be unanimously approved by the sommeliers and wine experts at wineaccess.com. We've sent bottles to multiple people. We've gotten bottles for ourselves. The beauty is if you want to send, well, I'll let John, you love talking about sending gifts, so but you can send like 6 bottles of wine to somebody. I think it's 6 or maybe around $100, whatever it is, you get the free shipping. So you get 6 bottles, 20% and the free shipping for like $100. Someone's going to get a box of wine that's going to blow them away. Or you will.
Why?
Send it to yourself.
I am a big believer, guy, in sending gifts because I think sometimes you forget to do things for people that you love, that you care about, people that are in your life, whether it's friends, whether it's parents, whether it's, siblings, whether it's cousins, whether it's college roommates. Everyone likes alcohol. Let's face it. I mean, it's something we all have in common. And wineaccess.com, you go to wineaccess.com/ham and you send a gift. 20% off. Like Guy said, you can get $30 bottles of wine, you get $6 bottles of wine, you get $100 bottles of wine. You can send a bottle of wine, you can send 3 bottles of wine, you can send 6 bottles of wine. I opened up the box today. We had 3 bottles waiting for us. Some Pinots, Star Treatment, Sonoma, no big deal. The other one I saw, Napa Valley. So you can pick and choose that to get on wineaccess.com. The sommeliers, 1 in 18 bottles make it.
20,000.
So the best of the best.
They taste a year.
When you hear the stats like only 1% of the people in the NCAA will make it to the pros. Only 1% of college football players will make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
That's basically the NFL. That's Wine Access of wines, like the best wines.
That's right.
The cream of the crop.
These are the NCAA. These are the ones that don't end up as doctors. These are the ones that end up as pro athletes. Although doctors pretty impressive. And every bottle comes with this cool sheet. It tells you all about the wine, like this bottle here. And it gives you not only the background, where it's from, all that stuff, but good pairings. Like the bottle we're drinking tonight is great with red meat, hard cheese, fish, and white meat. Tannins are silky. Acidity is fresh. Body is dense. Oak intensity, vanilla. Fruit intensity, abundant. One of these comes with every bottle. And again, you can order 2 bottles. You can order 20 bottles. But you're going to love it. You're going to love it. So thanks to our friends at wineaccess.com/ham, who actually, they said to us, what do you guys think about popping a bottle during your show? We said, great. We're actually doing a Trey Lance video. Why don't we do it during that? And they love the idea. So Wine Access, pleasure working with you. And it's because we've heard from so many of you guys that you've used it and you like it. So we appreciate all the support there. Yeah.
You can bring wine tasting in your home. It's easy.
You can bring wine tasting in your home. It's just one of those, like, you're making dinner, you're having somebody, now you're starting to have people over, whatever you're doing at the house, like what, I don't really know. This one goes with red meat. Perfect. Let's get some steaks going, and maybe next time we'll get some steaks going. All right. So, John, here we go. Brandon Halverson says, I'm a North Dakota State football season ticket holder. Trey rarely puts the ball in harm's way. Braden, I think I said Brandon, I'm sorry. Braden, you are right. He did not throw a single interception as his full year as a starter. But in the words of Stephen A. Smith, however, we found some balls that maybe could have been picked.
I thought you were going to put down the weed. Alex Caruso got arrested in Texas.
Come on, Texas. All right.
Caruso, man.
Before we go back to the tape, you want to make a point? Actually, no. We'll go to the tape and talk about whether or not these are picks. These are balls that should have been picked, bad decisions, luck, or that he throws a hard pass to intercept. But I will say this.
Do you see that play? Look what they're doing here. I mean, they're doing some crazy shit in North Dakota State.
They are.
You see the play? They had guys going right. They had guys going back. Like this.
Let me move.
This play's nuts.
The protection seems a little frazzled. A lot going on.
I would guess this play on like Wednesday night with like 3 guys in fucking shorts at 10 o'clock in the offensive room. All 3 had massive chews in. Felt a lot better on the whiteboard than Trey coming over the sideline like, guys, what the fuck was that? I don't put this on the quarterback at all.
His arm gets hit as he throws here.
I like what they got going on though. I do think, Guy, in the offensive in the game plan, they were excited for this play.
Looks good on the whiteboard.
I bet it worked in practice.
One of my most viral Vines. Remember Vine on Twitter?
What were they trying to do here? Sneak out someone?
Yeah, they're trying to get 82. Or maybe you think they're trying to come into the flat at the bottom where we can't see to this guy coming in motion?
And so they don't bite on that, and 82 doesn't get. I think the play just whatever they were trying to do was a disaster.
I wonder, can a North Dakota State fan tell us? Mike, is it possible that 82 doesn't catch the ball a lot?
I also think, and sometimes,
And
just
so it was
players
like a
make
surprise.
players make plays.
Yep.
Look at this. Look at the middle linebacker just triggering on the quarterback. He closes fast. I was a big fan of in my scouting days of closing speed guy.
Yeah.
Because like look at this guy. I mean, can you make up in like 3 steps a lot of ground? And he's all over Trey's ass. What's Trey supposed to do? No one's open. I can't put I put this on the coach. You're the coach and you're allowed it to happen.
A little risky out of the end zone. One thing you see a lot on some of these plays is defenders undercutting the ball. 82 is in the NFL at Jacksonville. Ben Elfison on the Jags roster. All right, they were trying to get it to a pro, the previous play, 82. Thank you. Thank you, comments.
Do you think he'll beat out Tebow?
Yes, I do. I think they're all going to beat out Tebow.
Did Kittle invite? I guess he
no,
didn't invite.
Kittle did not invite Tebow to tight end day or whatever.
Yeah, is that discriminatory practices there by the tight ends?
No, you got to earn it.
That's true.
All right.
He brought Tanyan, though, before Tanyan was anything, and now they're buddies. This guy is letting it rip here out of the end zone.
This is not interceptable. This is just throw it where nobody can catch it.
That was a Kaepernick.
That was hit the
Where'd
trainer.
that end up? In the first row?
All right. Here we go. Ooh. All right, that's not this is not getting picked. This is a good play. But it's behind the receiver. You really need the behind angle on this throw.
You need the all-22. I mean, if that is...
Yeah, fair.
I mean, if that's Jalen Ramsey, it's pick 6. I mean, he's going to... Guys throw interceptions. I mean, Brady throws interceptions.
No, look, there's no question. I think part of the illustration is just to have some fun, and so we're not just looking at his best plays.
What happened here?
I think a penalty.
Called back?
Yeah, must have been because he didn't throw a pick all year. But it's just
he's throwing some questionable balls against this purple team.
This is my UCA. Abilene? No, you're right. It's not Abilene Christian. The whole point is like you throw 15 picks, 6 of them might not have been your fault. You throw no picks, maybe you should have thrown 6. Like the game is not like you say. You can't be a box score scout. Doesn't tell you the whole story. Again, it's just we don't want to. We both are very high on Trey Lance. We both predicted when the moment of truth came, they would take Trey Lance. I wanted them to take Trey Lance after initially wanting them to take Justin Fields. I'm just saying part of the reason we're looking at this is this part of the game. This happens. This stuff happens.
Also, part of throwing picks is
apparently, John. This is the one. Braden, our apparently our just like in-house North Dakota State expert says this was the one pick from the.
Oh, this was the Arkansas game.
That was the.
That makes sense. Arkansas Central. That's who UCA is.
Ah, okay. Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Alan.
You would think it would be ACU, but that's on them. That was my point. You notice I was like, God, he's made some weird throws against this purple team. We don't even count the purple game. We don't even count this game. Right?
That's right. We don't count this game.
It's like this game doesn't count. Because it really was, in fairness, it's pretty nuts that he agreed to play this game. It really is. Given that it was clear he already had an agent, people told him, like, you're going to get drafted high. I actually think internally, I bet a lot of scouts, a lot of GMs, a lot of football guys, a lot of coordinators, that was fucking pretty badass. Like, this kid did not have to do this. And this is another thing. And again, I'm not trying to, like, bring the media because I don't think they speak for everything. And I think a lot of times 5 or 6 people have a take and it feels like everyone has the take. But a big, I think an overarching take consistently on social media is always to tap out when it doesn't mean anything for you financially in college, right? Like bowl games, they don't mean anything, leave. This game, I would have bet if you polled Twitter, should Trey Lance, if he's going to be a potential top 10 pick, play in a meaningless game, everyone would have said no.
Can I tell you why I think that opinion, why you get that opinion from the media? Because I think they spent a lot of years, you could write it in a newspaper, and no one ever said a word to you about it. Maybe they said something to you at the cafe. Maybe they wrote you letters, but there was never any immediate feedback. You start tweeting the way you used to write in the paper, which is, you owe this to your teammates. You get some negative backlash real fast. Like, who are you to tell this kid he owes it to his teammates, right? And I think so. I think that happened early. People are like, "You have about some loyalty. You can't have that take. You can't. I mean, you can. Most people do have that take, but I'm saying on Twitter, you cover a team, you go, and what hits your inbox is nothing but you're making money. They're playing for free. You don't tell them they owe you anything. I do think for that specific take, I would defend. It's just so much easier to be like, yeah, whatever they want to do is cool. This is not almost a pick. By the way, here's an example, John. This is, I think, UC Davis, one of the North Dakota State fans can correct me. I think this is like its second or third start.
My point was, though, I think it's consistently the other end. Like everyone would have said, do not play against UCA, right? Do not play against Arkansas Christian. But when he did, and the coaches were like, listen, Trey, you don't have to do this. You have a lot on the line. And he's like, no, guys, these are my fucking friends. These are my boys. And then he does it. Don't you think internally in every scouting, department, they're like, this guy's a fucking badass. This guy.
Absolutely.
Part of the reason I really, obviously, if you watch Zion, when he came back after a sneaker broke, and everyone was like, what is Zion doing? Because the media always loves like just go pro. And Zion's like, I want to play with RJ Barrett and Coach K. I love these guys.
But I'm with you. I love it. I'm just saying, my point is, the media feels like I think it has to have that take, because if you say you owe it to your teammates, you start getting killed for that take.
No, I know. And luckily coaches they never have to put their name on anything, but totally. Like they always universally love he's playing. Because in fairness, I remember a couple years ago, N'Keal Harry didn't play in a bowl game, but went. I think they were playing Fresno State, but went to the game. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right.
And listen, Christian McCaffrey's been a great player. I remember he opted out of the game, which, again, I don't blame him at all. They were playing, but he didn't even show up. I give kids credit when they show up with their boys.
Hey, John. Shout out to Talbot Seed in Moorhead, Minnesota. They are selling right now Thunder Seed. Thunder Seed.
What's funny is, you white collar coastal elites make fun of these farmers.
I'm not making fun of everybody. I just
have all the almonds.
This is the. First of all, you're talking to a man who spent some time in Fresno proudly.
You did, yeah, Valley guy.
I'm not making fun of anything. I'm just saying I think Thunder Seed is, if you want to spread the message that your seed will impregnate your crop, you call it Thunder Seed.
Do you know an underrated part, too, about smaller schools? And I actually think Fresno would fall under this, Nevada, North Dakota State, UC Davis. You do get, and maybe you do even if we dove into like Mississippi State and the SEC or Wisconsin, you do get some cool sponsors at some of the smaller schools. Like Dynuba Tractor, sponsors the first downs or whatever.
Promo code Thunder Seed from Down Under. Is that Jesse?
Yeah, very, very, very organic and call it. That was picked.
Oh, he is kicking himself.
Who did that guy kind of look like? Nickel Roby Coleman?
Asante Samuel?
Make that play. UC Davis.
You don't expect it to hit you in the face.
Asante would have caught that. I'll give Asante credit.
What Asante did undercut every throw, John. Wasn't that the deal?
That's why you did double moves. Isn't his kid? I think his kid was just drafted really high. I think the Chargers took him actually in the second round.
By the way, two people in the chat. I can't go back and find it. Huh?
Asante Samuel was on the team my entire time with the Eagles fucking 7 years ago. His kid is in the NFL now. How old was his fucking kid when he was playing? He was like 32 years old. His kid was he was 32. His kid was like 15.
All right, next up. So these are interceptable balls. We've got a couple. What else did we have here? You know what? Here, we got one more category, which is almost balls that are intercepted. I didn't know what to do with this one. Let's see if we can you look at this. Watch the trajectory of this ball. It just goes, it's like a knuckleball curveball. Look at this. Whoop. That one did not come out clean.
That's a tough throw, right? Because boom, boom.
He makes this throw in the offense a lot and does it well.
I think if you go to any college practice, any NFL practice, that's a drill. The quick boom. They do that drill in every practice just because there are going to be plays throughout the game that are just quick hitters.
Yeah.
And it's guys have to learn to either twist the ball, throw on the strings, or not, or on the what's it called, the not the rope, but the fuck you grip the ball on.
Oh, the laces?
Yeah, the laces, but sometimes you can't, right? You just have to be able to throw the ball.
Yeah. My favorite part of every time you run this play is when the receiver does this and then steps back. Like he acts like he's going to run forward and then he comes back to the ball.
You know what's funny is when I asked Andy once, like, did he think evaluating Mahomes was hard because he played in a spread offense? He said it was actually the easiest evaluation he'd ever had. This is before Mahomes was really good, just because you could just watch a bunch of throws, because he was like, back when Donovan was coming out, you didn't have as many throws. But he's like, the only thing you just immediately siphon out and just erase from your evaluation are just these throws. Like they know you can make this throw if you could make the other throws, right? Yeah. So I would say this is probably a pretty freak deal.
Okay, next up.
That was kind of a knuckler, huh?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I just put it in here because it's kind of funny. All right, next up, John, we've got plays that look like the 49ers would run them.
Oh,
give it a use check. Kyle would have stayed up, though. But look at the slide by the big man.
He kind of does look like a use check, huh?
He's bigger. He's bigger than Kyle. Yeah, he's
a little chubbier.
He's bigger. Secure the bag, slide in a pop-up. That's an athletic man. Honestly, if you weren't down in college like you are, it would have been a pretty sweet kind of. Like, he did this pop-up slide and knew it looked sweet when he popped up, and then he realized, I was down.
Not a great throw. I mean, I think Juszczyk might have had to hit the ground too.
Yeah, I mean, John, that should be a first down, right?
44 is a pretty sweet fullback number because you can also like kind of make plays.
It is. Feels like a good tough guy number for some reason.
Yeah, it definitely is a good tough guy number.
Shout out to Juice, who's probably watching from his remodeled bathtub or something.
Well, fuck, he's been there since the season ended. He didn't come out here to hang out with us.
Is this Dwelly?
Where? 82?
87? I mean, we got feels like 8 tight ends, but it was only 2, I think.
It is pretty easy to see why guys in the NFL like this guy, because you just watch these plays and it just makes you think of the NFL. There is something to be said, and I'll never forget being at Fresno State. Scouts like coming in there because they could just make a real evaluation. You go to Texas Tech, I bet a lot of people go, the hardest part about Mahomes was the offense, and it was just hard. Like, is this really going to translate? When you see a guy doing it in this thing, you're like, well, I know he can do it. Think about that. Like, think how many guys probably were in love with Carson Wentz coming out. And same with this guy. Like, I'm just talking scouts, college directors all over the NFL that just love this.
Don't you think too?
It just feels it's just
you've been in these interviews with these guys. Like, it's not just that I would imagine it's not just that you know that they can do it. It's also that you just like they already speak the same language as you, right? They already know what you're talking about. Why the fake on the handoff there on the play action is valuable. Like, look, I know you're big for the Peyton Manning fake. It's 2 play actions, really, right? In some ways. Does he miss? Somebody says, Jordan says 82 over the middle was more open. Would have had to layer it.
Them lightning seeds got my cats high as fuck. I think I remember Savage telling me, Phil Savage, when he ran the Senior Bowl for like back-to-back years, his last couple years doing it, whoever was the coach of Team X, right? Kyle, whatever. The first thing, they just get some basic information like, how many quarterbacks here have played under center? No one would raise their hand. And that started happening every year. So all of a sudden, I mean, some of those guys are like Jared Goff, right? Baker Mayfield. Like
right?
These guys are going to go high. Baker Mayfield, I guess, had because Lincoln has it in his arsenal, but they still are mainly out of shotgun. It has to calm a coach down. Like, oh my God, just a basic thing.
All right, next up.
Thanks for watching, Tanner. That was pretty good.
Okay, I don't know if this is Dayton or Delaware, but here we go. Let me move us here and let's watch this play again.
You want me to name off some notable Delaware alumni?
Blue Hens? Yeah, please.
Flacco,
Yep.
Rich Gannon, Matt Nagy, Brett Veach.
GM of the Chiefs. You're a Delaware guy. Honorary.
Well, because I that was like the first school Howie ever let me go to when I was like a nobody.
You know, what I was thinking when I saw this throw, not just... that it looks
Underrated. I don't feel like anyone ever mentions the state of Delaware.
No, I'm on the record as believing that Delaware is the most unmentioned state in the United States of America, without question. The most under the radar state in our.
I don't even think there's a close second, guy.
I have never met anyone from Delaware. Is what I told the only person that I ever met from Delaware. I said to them, I've never met anyone from Delaware. That's a true story. It's like, oh my God, Dover? Are you from Dover? Okay.
I know. Isn't the President of the United States from Delaware?
Haven't met him. The senator from Delaware. So this play, I thought, it's not so much that it looks like a Niners play. Isn't this just a classic NFL touchdown right here? This to me is a classic. Throw it. You jog to the end zone, tap somebody on the helmet, run back to the huddle.
I feel like if you are from 10 till 4 o'clock on your couch and have multiple TVs like you and I do, you still have two that work. And if you have two TVs and you have one of them and you have Red Zone on,
about to replace it.
I would say, guy, on the Red Zone on a random Sunday, you'd see this play 8 times. You could argue run. If you just watch the whole time, run throughout the day 25 times.
Yeah.
A rollout under shotgun, a goal line for. This play is run nonstop by any team. Like, this isn't even scheme. That is the NFL right there.
Right here. Yep.
Honestly, I bet every game has this play run, some version of it, 3-4 times.
I would guess 8% of touchdowns in the NFL are scored on this play at this yardage.
Yeah.
Just like this.
I agree.
With a DB, with a safety, almost gets there.
You know what happens a lot, too, is he runs out. These guys don't get open. He stops, and he kind of shuffles back. Sometimes it's a disaster play, too. Like, you've seen some picks thrown from this play. I've seen a lot of picks from this when the guy's not open and the guy doesn't know what to do.
Oh, and you stop and try to go back over the middle? Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
Seattle's big on taking Lockett all the way across the other side, and Russ fucking throws a bomb back. They've been running that play for a decade.
Is this Kittle?
No one's ever covered it.
Is this Kittle or Dwelly? Is that Kittle?
Yeah, to me, I don't know if Kittle would get that open
I don't think so either.
Like nowadays. It would be or a use check. I could see like a slip. You know, if like use check's kind of closer down there. Like if they had put him in motion, he was gonna like fake take out the defensive end and then shoot forward. Or Dwelly, like no one even in practice all week, the other team didn't even know who Dwelly was.
And you're like, I got him on my DraftKings fantasy.
Yeah.
For this play.
I could also see Dwelly dropping that ball.
No.
I'm kidding.
That
is a play that, like, this is also to me very NFL red zone.
Mm-hmm.
The random tight end on Team X when you have their starting tight end on your team, right, on your fantasy team, on your DraftKings team, and then the other guy, you're like, wait, who is Rosh Juszczyk? You know, or who is Bill Haberman?
How did you just pull like Rosh?
I don't even know. I'm trying to think a name.
I kind of like that name. Roush?
Who is James Selleck on the Jags? And it's their backup tight end who just scores 3 touchdowns a year, and that's one of them. Oh. That's a good play. Oh, he missed it. Do you think what's worse in sports? A guy that misses a wide open layup, like, is he thinking worse about himself, or a quarterback? Got to be a quarterback because you can get more layups.
Yeah, layups only worth 2. There's, you're going to score 100 points that day. But I do think a layup is just more embarrassing. If it's a wide open layup, it's just.
I think for
now that said, you only get so many shots at this.
Yeah, quarterback, a schemed play that, especially if you've hit it in practice, you knew it was there, and you're like, okay, this is going to hit, and then you have it and you miss it. It's got to be a kick in the dick. Randy, Hedberg, North Dakota State quarterback coach, knew Mike Shanahan from the 1970s.
Remember Hedberg? Was it Hedberg? I think it was Hedberg that had some great quotes like a few months before the draft. And maybe Chris Biederman pointed them out to me. But Hedberg had some quotes that it was when I read his quotes, I think it was his, that I
He's the quarterback coach in North Dakota State right now.
Yeah, I think.
I don't see, to me, that name doesn't do it. I don't remember that name.
Well, they weren't like big. It wasn't like a big deal, the quotes he made. I think he spoke to, is it Mark Schofield is the name of the writer that I think wrote an article and talked to, it was either Hedberg or is Hedberg not the OC also? Maybe it was the OC he talked to, not Hedberg. But the point is, there were some quotes about just how similar what they do, or how similar what they do is to what the Niners do, and how much they put. Oh yeah, passing game coordinator QB. So it was him, assistant head coach that I read his quotes, and one of the things he was talking about was how much they put on Trey mentally, like how much responsibility is on him. And I remember reading those quotes and going like, okay, like this is the thing you won't see, but this is the thing that's going to mean the world to, a team evaluating.
So I do think sometimes, and I think it's clear that they put a lot on him. He's running NFL stuff. This is the hard part about the draft, though. Wouldn't you say universally you saw those type quotes about like every player in the draft? Like every quarterback?
Well, but see,
Jimbo didn't go like to the mat for Kellen Mond.
But it wasn't so much that he was like, this is the guy. It was more explaining how much responsibility he had at the line of scrimmage, that it wasn't clap, clap, look at the sideline, right? Which you can see. You don't have to hear somebody say that. But just how much responsibility those guys had. Look, we got a bunch of people here. We started this thing over an hour ago. The first thing we did was look at big throws. As we're wrapping up here, I'm just showing you guys some of the throws that you might have missed early on. Where's our favorite throw? I just want to find that one. It wasn't this one. This was a drop touchdown. That's a good one, though. Hey, you know what? Now what we do, we go to the victory. Now we go to the victory formation, John. Boy, you love this, don't you, Trey? Huh? Victory formation, man. You love that.
You know the sad part about Gruden being gone from ESPN?
Just what great content he was.
They have had an incredible couple-year run of quarterbacks, right? Think about the year 18 had Baker, Sam, Josh, Rosen, and Lamar. The next year had Kyler, Daniel Jones, Haskins all in the top 15. This year, what was last year? Last year had Tua, Herbert, and Burrow go in the top 6. This year had 5 guys go in the top 15. Like, it's been a pretty incredible run of guys. There would have been some famous, a Tua or a Lance or a Lamar. There have just been some famous motherfuckers that, they missed an opportunity. Guy, it's got to be one of the greatest 4-year stretches of quarterbacks drafted in the top 2 rounds in the history of the league. Think how many I just named 15 off the top of my head.
The other thing
That's
is it would have been so big.
2 of the last 4 years, 5 quarterbacks.
Gruden and Herbert would have been a big one because the whole thing was like, is Herbert a recluse? Remember, it was like, can Herbert communicate with his teammates? And obviously the answer is yes. But that would have been one that I think would have been big news. It's like, okay, we get to see Justin Herbert. What's he going to be like?
I'll give you, remember Baker? There were videos of him getting chased down and beat up in Arkansas. I think that would have been a big thing. I think this year it was a pretty polarizing class, right? I think him and Mac Jones would have been big. Like, everyone thinks you're overrated. Trey Lance, like, who the hell were you playing? Zach Wilson, like, your schedule sucked. I actually think this year, because we knew all these guys were going high, right? It was like, how high are they going to go?
Right.
Trevor Lawrence, this might have been the greatest John Gruden year of all time. Because even the year, I think Josh Allen would have been a big one, because everyone's like, bro, you suck. I don't ever remember a player that was universally agreed upon. Like, people thought Trey Lance
I'm sorry,
was
you
good.
said Rosen.
People
right?
thought Zach Wilson was good. I said Rosen too.
That would have been.
Rosen would have been a pretty polarizing one.
Well, that's the one so many people would have wanted to see that. That would have been the most popular one going into the draft. Would have been Rosen. Is this guy? Is he a know-it-all?
Who are the more polarizing quarterbacks the last 5 years? What do you say?
In terms
Josh
of
Allen, Josh
draft
Rosen,
disagreement,
Mac Jones.
you're talking in terms
just
of
guys that you
people
knew were
having
gonna go-
opinions on them going into the draft.
Yeah, guys that were gonna go high, but a lot of people were like, I don't know if I'd take that guy. Josh Allen probably number one.
Yeah, Josh.
Rosen, people thought he was an asshole.
Justin was not polarizing. Herbert. Rosen was Dwayne Haskins. Was Dwayne Haskins polarizing? Baker.
I feel like Mac Jones.
Baker, yeah, Baker, I think, was really polarizing. Because it wasn't just Baker, right? Sam Darnold was in that draft, too, and Josh Allen and Josh Rosen.
I don't even think Trey Lance was very polarizing because no one really had opinions on him. Right?
Right. Fields.
But really, he became polarizing when Orlovsky said that. I think most people just thought Fields was legit. I know I did. And then people were like, not people. He said that people thought what was his thing again? First in, last out?
Yeah.
Last in,
lazy,
first out?
Basically. Or not a hard worker, maybe not lazy.
He crushed him. Yeah, he crushed him.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese.
Well, hey, we've mentioned a couple times, but once again, thanks to all of you. If you're here right now, just hit that like button. That helps us out in the algo. I guess.
Smash it.
That's what they tell me.
Smash the like.
And that's what our film intern tells us. And so hit the like button. Check out our friends if you're inclined. WineAccess.com/ham. 20% off. They've been awesome partners. We know a lot of you have used them and told us about it. So check that. Oh, Johnny Manziel, polarizing, says Jordan.
But he was there and he loved him. Remember?
Oh, you're talking from a Gruden perspective, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking the quarterback. Those because they were I remember when they would come on TV, I would stop and watch. And it's to this day there aren't that many shows.
You would wait, seek them out.
Yeah, and it was good. It was good.
This could have been a Mac Jones tape study tonight, John.
One thing I think we learned tonight. I feel like people kind of come out of the woodworks a little later. If you think about it, television shows, the good shows are on to 8 or 9, not 7.
Yeah.
Because people showed up closer to 7:45, 8.
Hour-long video of them blowing wine? No thanks. Jim Justin. You know what I got respect for? You know what I always say it. Real name on the internet. You got a real name on the internet? Fuck, you say whatever you want. I don't care.
I do think on YouTube comments, you get most of these people are real names, right?
Yeah.
Colin Cool, probably not a real name. James Byers, real name. Malachi Hoskins. Honestly, I think that's, you guys have an intern?
I'm going Malik. I think that's Malik.
Malik. I read it like a third grade level.
Well, it's Malik's parents spelled it a little differently than the traditional spelling.
Jorn Anderson. Am I reading that correctly?
Or maybe that is the traditional spelling. Yeah, you know what's funny? As I meant to mention this earlier in the chat, I saw in the chat Malik and Jorn. They must know each other. They Malik, is that you? Jordan, is that you? I don't know if these guys are North Dakota State fans from back in the day. Now this is awesome. As someone who gets asked all the time, is that your name? That's awesome.
Intern equals middle class brother.
Lil Jeff don't need us.
Yeah, I don't think we can afford him.
John posted a video playing golf at El Macero the other day, and it looked like the golf cart you were driving in had Ferrari leather stitched seats in it. And I texted you, and you're like, "Yeah, it's Jeff. It's little Jeff's cart."
Guy, he has a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, setup for so it plugs in your phone, multiple speakers and a subwoofer. It does, I think concrete right on the road. It can do 30 miles an hour. On the grass, it does about 26. You can get tee to ball in about a minute. For Haberman, what are you? You probably 240.
Yeah.
Probably do,
If I
probably
catch
do
it
30
clean.
seconds. Yeah, I think once you get new clubs,
Little,
you'll be
little
deeper.
run out. Yeah, I do have a 13-year-old Cleveland driver. I don't think they make him anymore. Maliake.
I was right.
You were right. My bad.
No, but that's not him saying that. That's
No,
another
but
person.
but maybe not. I don't know. We'll go. Maliake, Malik, let us know what it is, man. I want to get it right. I'm big on getting the names right. All right. How we feeling? Feeling good, everybody? What do we see? Quarterback you like? Hope so. I think you're right
Dust
on the
this off
timing,
and go to
by the
bed.
way. You're right on the timing. We gotta, this was good.
Well, just think about it. A lot of people are more likely to be doing things. Our jobs are kind of weird.
Oh, it is
But
weird.
some people get home at like 6. You're doing shit with your kids, your family, or eating. You kind of sit down and kind of come on your phone, maybe 8 o'clock.
Sorry?
Right? I think a lot of people kind of that 8 to 10 stretch for hanging out on their couch.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Malik. You're right. Malik said you were right.
Thunder Seed, man.
It's not Malachi. Wasn't there a basketball player named Malachi or an NFL player Malachi? I feel like that
Malachi
name is...
Flynn.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Malachi Richardson,
San
wasn't
Diego
he a guy
State.
too?
Malachi Richardson? Yeah, that does sound right. I don't know. Have we had any Malachis in the NFL?
Is Sean Miller still the coach at Arizona?
No. Tommy Lloyd,
Yeah,
the
fired.
#1 assistant from Georgia. Wait, what are we just talking about?
I come on my phone every night. That's not appropriate. And that would be disgusting.
That's what made me laugh. What was the name of the guy who was Eminem's best friend in 8 Mile? That actor?
Oh, B Rabbit.
No, not B Rabbit. The black guy with the dreads, who's like his best friend, who hosts the rap battles. What's that guy's name?
Oh, the dude in D12.
No,
Didn't he die?
he's
Spoof.
not
Spoof
Proof,
died,
not
I think.
Proof. No.
Proof died. didn't
Proof
he?
died. I'm talking about the actor, Mekhi Phifer. That's the name I was trying to think of.
He was kind of famous.
Sealy. Yeah, that's a good one.
Malik Sealy. That's a good one. Yeah. R.I.P. I think he passed, didn't he?
Man, are we just getting a bunch of RIPs tonight?
I know.
Got a bottle. Pour one out. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I feel like Malik Sealy died.
He did.
Yeah, he's
right.
dead. Was he the guy on the Timberwolves? Remember when there was a car crash? Remember that? Were we in college?
Oh, with God, who's the shorter guy?
Wasn't
Yeah,
Wasn't that a guard?
yeah, famous guy.
You know what's funny is I was watching the TNT show the other day, Inside the NBA, and it was after a playoff game. They threw something up, and Spud Webb's name was on it with like 3 other really famous guys. Like Spud was the least famous of the group. It was like Dominique. It was just Hall of Famers and Spud Webb. And Charles was like, Spud Webb, that's my guy. And I'm like, I fucking love Spud Webb. Like Spud Webb, man. That guy was a badass. I met him once at Almost Arrow. I just remember thinking I was going to go like this, but I was actually more like this. Now, I was young too, but Spud Webb, what a legend. 5'8" dunk champion.
I mean, it's
There are probably just certain people in sports, right? Like in the NBA, if you just the people that played in the 80s or 90s, Spud Webb, and there's probably a guy like this in the NFL, not like all-time great, but just someone, if you just said his name in like NFL circles, they'd be like, that guy was fucking a baller. I think the respect Spud Webb garnered with his fellow competitors. Do you remember when that story that came out, Michael calling Muggsy Bogues, like, shoot the ball, you fucking midget, and it got in his head and he crumbled, his career ended?
Yeah.
I don't think he would have talked like that to Spud Webb.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like Spud had like a Bobby Jackson. Like, just, I'm tough. Like, okay, you can come at me, but I ain't afraid.
I know Bobby
when
was
you
that
stood
way,
around
man.
Bobby
Just
was not
because we
scared.
know Bobby and he is something else. Like, just an awesome guy. But he's tough as hell, man.
I think Spud Webb was like 5'8". I don't think he was 5'6". I think Muggsy was like 5'5". Spud was 5'9".
Was he?
I think Spud was Yeah, I
Did
don't
you
think he
Google
was
it?
5'6".
You got an intern on it.
I think he was 5'9".
Hold on, intern. It says 5'6".
Spud Webb?
That's what it says.
Do you think Spud Webb was 5'6"?
I didn't think it was 5'9".
I was gonna say 5'8". You're right. A 5'6" guy won the dunk contest and played in the NBA. If Spud Webb was truly 5'6", that's the greatest accomplishment in the history of professional sports.
133 at that. I mean,
Well, that's what
else would you
his
be?
that's what his wiki says. I don't even believe that. Do you believe that? What was Spud Webb's vertical leap then?
I mean,
75?
Yeah, it was huge.
Can you touch rim? I can't either.
John, when's the Jalen Moore tape study video? It's in the works. Christopher. Wine, definitely. It's offensive line tape, John. We'll leave that to the big uglies like me. Wine kicking in, men of the people.
Do you know who Jalen Moore is?
Yeah, the offensive lineman the 49ers drafted.
They took an offensive lineman named Jalen Moore?
You knew that. We've talked about
from Western whatever,
yeah,
like
you
at
knew
the end of the okay.
Big dude. Okay. He's huge.
He's big. But I mean, to me, when you say the offensive lineman they drafted, I think Aaron Banks.
Sorry, the other offensive lineman they drafted.
Yeah.
Hawks win tonight.
Again, people know where I come from. I don't give you that much respect. Not that I don't. Like, you get drafted in the NFL, that's an incredible accomplishment. But in terms of talking about you as a player on the team, as a 5th, 6th, 7th rounder, I don't waste much time on you because I've seen it from inside. I remember being with the Niners just at practice, Matt Breida. I never would have mentioned his name. And I remember being at a practice. I went to a training camp practice. They had inside Levi Stadium, standing on the sideline, and they were doing like a 7-on-7 drill. He caught a ball one-handed. It was fucking incredible. I've been to 10 years of NFL practices. Just that play right in front of me, I was like, that is an incredible catch. And I remember Matt Mayoko going, that was like the first practice I had been to like they had already practiced 3 days. He's like, this guy has made plays every day. And then things just build. Like once you start making plays in training camp, it's harder to tell with an offensive lineman, right? You have to like, they get evaluated more on like blocking people in preseason games, but playmakers, you and I, when we go to Niners training camp, like you can see playmakers make plays. You can't really like, I wonder who's going to be the third swing tackle. Like
right.
That to me is a little nitty gritty, but like whoever their 3rd and 4th and 5th wide receiver, the hype on those guys do grow through the media.
Yeah.
But the line minutes, to me, it's hard to tell.
Because so much of your job is about doing the right thing and doing it solidly. It's not about the spectacular.
And you're doing it as a group. Like I know some people used to hate like trying to make a big deal over individual. And it's fun, right? We'll be at practice and like O-line, D-line, 1-on-1, full go. It's
well, I talked to Jeff.
You don't play as a guard. You have people around you. It's a group effort, you know.
Jeff Schwartz always posts these videos of like one-on-one videos of like these one-on-one drills.
He crushes
like
them.
Camps.
The kids.
It's like some guy will pick somebody up by the waist and throw him down. He's like, this is not technique. This is not real. Anyway, camera went out of focus.
There's a video of Muggsy dunking at age 47.
At 5'3".
Could you argue that Muggsy, pound for pound, is one of the greatest athletes in the history of civilization?
I mean, you could argue, forget about pound for pound. Johnny was 5'3".
No, he wasn't 5'3".
Johnny was 5'3".
I wasn't.
He was 5'3". His
He
basketball reference lists him at 5'3".
He made that up.
He is 5'3".
Do you have Doug Christie's phone number?
Yeah.
Can you text him how tall is Muggsy Bogues? Muggsy, I thought was 5'8". And if you tell me he's 5'8", that's incredible. Honestly, I don't even believe he's 5'6". You could convince. I'll give 5'7". Guy, I'm watching just some of these still pictures.
Hey, Doug Christie. Middlecoff and I are doing a live stream right now, and we had a question. I thought I'd just call you, like Julio Jones style, you know? John doesn't believe that Muggsy Bogues was 5'3". Yeah, what do you think? He's 6'3"? There's something wrong with John. What do you mean he doesn't believe he's 5'3"?
No, I thought he was 5'6". Is he 5'6"?
He thought he was 5'6".
5'7"?
Pull up the Manute Bull photo.
Well, Manute's 7'8".
I don't know. He doesn't believe what he reads on the internet.
How tall does Doug think he is? Serious question.
What are you eating? Tiramisu. Doug is eating tiramisu. I'm sorry to interrupt during our live stream, but I thought I would. Oh, a Cabernet.
Muggsy comes up to like his belly button.
Well, I'll catch up with you later. Thank you for coming through in the clutch. Thank you for being my phone a friend. All right. Thank you. There you go.
He doesn't believe he's 5'3".
Says 5'3".
5'3".
I wasn't going to put him on speaker. I wasn't going to do the Julio.
No, you never know. He could say something.
All right. People are starting to notice how red my eyes are, John. This probably should. It's just how my eyes get.
Guy, it's the greatest accomplishment in the history of the world.
Greatest, yes.
He played in the league from 85 to 98 at 5'3". If that's true. I don't believe it. He's 5'6". And honestly, that feels small.
I mean, you tell me.
Can you?
Look at this.
Is that Michael? That's Muggsy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're talking about Muggsy. That's what we're talking about.
I thought we were talking about Spud Webb.
We're talking about Muggsy's 5'3". Spud's 5'6".
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 5'3" is pretty tiny too. If you would have asked me like how tall is Muggsy, I would have said 5'5". 5'3" is tiny. That's incredible too.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Incredible accomplishment. Who's the smallest guy in the NFL? Might be honestly Matt Breida. He's like 5'7". What's Altuve? 5'6"?
How tall was Sproles?
Yeah, 5'6".
All right. Well, this my video got slow. This one's really been powered by Wine Access tonight. Wouldn't you say? Star treatment.
We should do this more often.
We should. I think we will. I think it's been successful. Everybody, thanks for hanging with us. Again, on your way out the door, maybe just hit that like button, please. Thank you. What, you see?
It's a guy. One of the last comments was guy calling Doug Christie is a huge flex. That is a pretty good flex.
Oh yeah. You know Doug well. How about not just? I knew when I said Middlecoff. He's a big fan of Middlecoff. You know, we used to spend a lot of time together watching basketball.
Those Kings players, that team were pretty cool.
Bobby, same deal.
Doug and Bobby are very cool. I mean, Velotti's cool too. I was always a big Velotti guy.
No. All right. Thanks for hanging, everybody. Thanks to wineaccess.com/ham. If you're into it, if you want to send a gift, check it out. Check it out. They got subscription options. They have non-subscription options, whatever. We always appreciate about, and John and I talk about this all the time. I'll say it directly to everybody. We appreciate that you guys understand what we're trying to do here, which is we're trying to make content, but we're also trying to make a living. And so we do the promo code HAM and we sell some stuff. And if it appeals to you and you buy it, then we appreciate the support. If not, that's cool too. But all right. Oh my God. What is going on? What is this?
At least I got clothes on. I'm wearing jeans.
I mean, what's the name of the guy who's the famous director? What are you, Quentin Tarantino?
He doesn't wear shoes?
No, Tarantino he likes putting women's feet like in every film as much as he can.
What was the film he did with the chicks where they're fighting? Kill Bill.
Yeah.
That was Tarantino, right?
Yeah.
I enjoyed those.
Oh my God. I can't believe you just did that.
I got a lot of, you know what, I'm going to end on this. I got a lot of, I had several personalized DMs today that said, you're crazy. I always check when I blow.
Your nose. For people who didn't get that conversation on the last podcast.
Not do blow. Yeah, not do blow.
I told Alyssa, I was like,
let's end on this. Haberman's a big believer is when you're stuffy, you blow your nose, that you check what's in there. Yeah. I said that I am adamant. Not only do I never check, I just immediately throw it away. And I guess there are a lot of checkers.
A lot of checkers. It's a self-diagnostic basically.
Jordan asked if he logged into OnlyFans by accident.
Oh, we forgot to activate Super Chat. All right.
Adios.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Later.